Alright, so today I am basically backing up on the last video that I made because I realized that you guys were super interested in, and for a good reason. Fujifilm is gonna release two new cameras in 2022. The XH line that some thought it's gone. Well, it's not, and the two new XH2 cameras, an XH2 and an XH2S, like I mentioned in the previous video. If you didn't watch that video, I'm gonna put it in the description below, and please watch that because we have the information, the pre-information of what I'm gonna talk about today. I'm gonna try to keep this video short, so you know, I'm not gonna bore you with all the details, but nonetheless, we have a 100% confirmation that the XH2S is gonna be a 26 megapixel BSI sensor, which means backside illuminated sensor. There is always something to talk about those sensors because basically these sensors are the best in low light, and they give you the ability to shoot in dark situations without cranking the ISO so much, or without getting that much noise or grain in your photos, and that is always a great thing. Now, I'm shooting my Fujifilm cameras most of the time in, let's say, up to 6400 ISO without having much of an issue, and I delivered photos for my clients based on that ISO, and I never had an issue. Nobody said, wow, these photos are super grainy or something like that. But depending on what you're shooting, it might be a little bit too much, it might be not enough, so a BSI sensor is definitely the good thing. And we don't know exactly, if again watch the last video, you know that the XH2S is gonna have a 26 megapixel sensor that we are confirmed now through fujirumors.com that it's gonna be a backside illuminated sensor, but we don't have any idea if the 43 megapixel sensor in the XH2 is gonna be backside illuminated as well. Now, that is a high resolution sensor, and will definitely benefit from having a illumination on the photo cells on the back of the sensor, and will help again in low light. But if you are recalling, or if you are in this market of buying and you know, trying all different cameras, you know already that Sony has that sensor on their cameras. It's a 43 megapixel sensor, backside illuminated, I think, you know, on A7R4 or A7R4A. Nonetheless, they already have it, and from, you know, back stories and people who are more in-depth, techie style, and they're getting deeper in all these, let's say, technicalities. We know that Fujifilm used Sony sensors in the past, and if that is the case now, then we're probably gonna have a 43 megapixel backside illuminated. This is not a confirmed rumor. We don't know anything about it until now. But another thing that I want you to know is that the Fuji X Forum that we're all waiting, it's gonna happen on May 31st, 2022. So at least one of these cameras will be released, if not both of them, at that time, and that's a great thing. Also, because we talked about the cameras in the previous video, let's talk about the roadmap of lenses that Fujifilm is coming up with. One of them is the 18-120, probably the best travel, I don't know, outings, hiking, outdoor lens, having with you all day, every day. It's gonna be an 18-120, probably an f4 lens, and that's great because having a constant aperture all the way to 120, which in full frame translates in basically 180 millimeters, it's not gonna be bad at all, and it's gonna compete with a lot of lenses, telephoto lenses on the market. Fujifilm is known for their glass, for their optics, and how good they build the elements. So I'm hoping that to be a sharp, a very nice bokeh rendition lens, and yeah, we probably gonna have that at the Fuji X Forum as well. or later this year. Another lens that we are looking towards is the 56mm f1.2 Mark II, and they're all on the roadmap. Fujifilm upgraded the 35mm f1.4 and the 23mm f1.4 last year, and they actually provided information about the roadmap and the fact that they're gonna have new lenses next year. So the 56 1.2 Mark II is also in the rumors, on the Fuji rumors. Apparently we're gonna have a new iteration of that beautiful lens. If you didn't try the 56 1.2, the old generation or the present generation, go ahead and try it, because it's an amazing lens that provides great image quality, also sharp images. It's not the fastest autofocus on the market, but it's still pretty good for portraits because it's an 85mm focal length in full frame and provides you with that beautiful compression and the depth of field that you need to have a smooth, dreamy portrait. And I really love that lens. I'm not owning it because I'm not shooting that much with it, but it's a lens that I used a lot in my wedding photography and portrait photography. So 56mm f1.2 Mark II is coming as well. Again, all these lenses, I'm not sure how or if they're gonna come in May at the Fuji X Forum, but they will definitely come this year, and that is great news. Also, there is another lens, long expected and long awaited lens, the 150 to 600mm from Fujifilm, and apparently is on the roadmap to be released probably this year. I'm not sure which one of them again will come up at the Fuji X Forum at the end of May, but definitely the 150 to 600 is a must for all birdies, all wildlife birds photographers, even sport photographers, because it's a long lens, and on an APS-C sensor is going to be even longer, around, let's say, 225 to probably 900mm, something like that. But it's a lens that is already present on the market through Sigma and Tamron, but they don't build it for X mount, and that is a problem. I think that Fuji community needs a lens that can definitely provide the ability to shoot birds in flight, wildlife, and all so on and so forth, because these cameras and the sensors, especially the new ones that we've talked about in the previous video, I think they're capable of rendering amazing images even at that focal length. Now, the last news is for the GFX users, the medium format users that are expecting new lenses for the roadmap. They're gonna be another one, the 20 to 35, I believe. We don't know exactly what aperture is gonna be, probably an f4, maybe an f2.8, who knows. But that lens will definitely cover a little bit of a focal length, wider focal length that everyone needs on a medium format, and you guys were asking for it. Also, it's gonna be great for landscapes and architecture, cityscapes and stuff like that. And if it's gonna be a wider aperture, the astrophotographers and so on and so forth. So guys, this is pretty much it for today for the second update of the Fujifilm X-H2 and X-H2S, also the roadmap of the lenses that we're expecting this year. Now we know exactly when the forum is gonna happen. Again, it's May 31st, 2022. We're all waiting for it. I'll probably have another video before that and one after to talk about what they released and so on and so forth. I will definitely push you towards buying whatever you need and whatever you need this time without waiting for new stuff. These cameras and lenses will probably be available in August, something like that, in all stores. You'll probably be able to pre-order and get it in a month or so. So it's plenty of time to basically buy something else. There's so many good cameras from Fujifilm, the X-T4, the X-T3, the X Pro 3, and so on and so forth, that if you need one now, I won't say don't wait, but I would say do whatever you need to do to keep your photography to the level that you want, and don't basically hinder your actions based on the new releases. And that's it. Stay focused, my friends. I will definitely see you in a bit.